Rise up, family. We are live. Welcome, welcome to another Wednesday show. Yes, indeed. It's Ujama Day. Sister Shanice in the house alongside Aras Pablos hosting. Oh, we are going to have a very interesting conversation with you today, family. I know that there are so many of you who have a particular interest in Jamaica. We have a love for Jamaica, and wow, we are all totally devastated by what has happened on that beautiful island of ours. And our brother Ras Oshim was actually in Jamaica when Hurricane Melissa hit. And so we're going to be having a conversation with him today about his experience of Hurricane Melissa, the impact of it, and what's going on the ground in Jamaica, because he's coming live and direct from Jamaica. And then we're going to go on to talk about other matters of interest as well. So without further ado, let me first of all welcome our special guest for today, Brother Ras Pablo Hosing. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, first of all, Sister Shanice, before we go into any reasoning, I would like to say in the presence of the Most High, the great order of divinity, as an Ethiopian, not by birth, by blood, we bring you peace and goodwill. I am Ras Paulus, Hoshing Paulus is my baptism name according to my faith as a Teido, the same faith of His Imperial Majesty. So we maintain that liberty according to the ecumenical revelation and the full translation of the Trinity that came down the Upper Nile Valley. So I'm Ras Paulus. I'm also chairman of the Ethiopian World Federation, Charter 43, here in Jamaica in the 6th region, and also a representative of the National Council of Reparation. Since 2010, 2015, we've been fully involved in that process as it relates to our position here in the Caribbean range, which we refer to as West Africa, not the West Indies, West Africa. So we give thanks, Sister Shanice, for this opportunity to address certain important issues, particularly the recent what happened recently in Jamaica concerning Matilda, the hurricane that came from nowhere, but it devastated half of the island, as you know, family.
Indeed. And, we have all been watching with a broken heart and an aching heart, beloved. And we just want everybody, all of our family in Jamaica, to know that we feel your pain. We share in your devastation. And all over the world, we're all doing what we can to help to relieve the suffering that you are experiencing right now. We're going to be coming back to have a more in-depth conversation with our brother Ras Hoshin. I'm just posting the link in the background so that the family can actually join us. And we want to thank you in advance. Now, family in the chat, welcome to those of you who are here nice and early. We thank you so much. It just wouldn't be worth us being here without you. And so the fact that you're here tuning in and listening to the show means that you know that we have a very interesting conversation that we're going to be having today. And so we rise you up for joining us. So as you come through the door, also just to remind you, those of you who haven't already got my book, this is my latest fantastic Blacktastic book entitled Hidden in the Shadows of Ancient Britain, Raised, African History Restored. And you know what, family? The history that we have been told and that we have been presented with is only a fraction of the truth. And there are thousands and thousands of years of history that we have in Britain that has been hidden from us, family. And I have uncovered this history, and I've written about it in my book. So if you don't already have it, please do get it. And I know for some of you, Kwanzaa is coming up, and for some of you, Christmas is coming up. And you're going to be looking for gifts, and you're going to be looking for presents to give to your nearest and dearest. Now, what better gift than knowledge? There is no better gift that you can give than knowledge, okay? Because once you have that knowledge of who you are and of your greatness, you know, you are destined then to become great, all right? But if you don't know you're great, and if you don't have knowledge of your greatness, then, you know, you won't even try to be great or to do anything of great significance. And so it's really important that from a young age, you are making your children and young people aware of the great genes of genius that they have buried inside of them, okay? And it's our job, your job as parents, our job as community members, to resurrect that greatness out of our young people, okay? It will sit there dormant, yeah, throughout their life if you don't let them know that greatness resides inside of them. And so this book, Hidden in the Shadows of Ancient Britain, talks about our great ancient history that we have in Britain that started at least 44,000 years ago and right up to the 17th century, okay? Yes, we were in Britain in substantially large numbers, ruling Britain. Yes, rule Britannia, that was us, ruling Britain right up to the 17th century, okay? And then we experienced our great downfall. How that came about is in another book. But before we talk about our downfall, we have to first of all make you aware of just how great we were. The industries, the societies, the civilization, the great kings and monarchs and lords, and we had it all going on and we lost it, you know, and that's why history is so important. That's why we need to learn from history, because if we don't learn from history, what's going to happen, Raso Shing, if we don't learn from history?
You're like a tree without its roots, Sister Shanice. You're going to eventually wither and die without no knowledge of your past in order to change your present to secure a future. So if you don't have knowledge of history, you're like a tree without a root. So I cannot put it more simpler than that. Yeah. And you know what, a tree without a root, it doesn't survive for long, Sister Shanice, it dies immediately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. And, you know, I love that because, you know, the great Marcus Messiah Garvey just came to the forefront of my mind as you said that quote, because that's one of his quotes, isn't it? You know,
that is one of the great masters quote, the great African.
Yeah. So, you know, if you don't have knowledge of your history, you are like a tree without roots. And that tree without roots just blows in any direction, you know, before it withers and dies.
It doesn't blow,
blowing
Sister
in
Shanice.
any direction.
It doesn't blow, it dies. A tree without no root dies. It doesn't even blow in the wind, it dies.
It doesn't bend either way. Okay, well, my tree, hey, before it dies, yeah, it sways towards Allah, it sways towards Christianity, it sways towards anything going, yeah, and that is a road to death, unfortunately. And that's what our people are. We're like a tree without roots, and anything going, we just seem to jump on it, not realizing, as you say, that we are just dying and then eventually just die. How tragic is that? You know, to die before you've even lived. That is, you know, what happens to trees without any roots. Okay, let me jump into the chat for a little while, Brother Rasoshin. Just make sure that our audience is there with us and that they're hearing us, seeing us, and ready to interact with us today. So let's go into the chat. Please, if you're in the chat, give us a thumbs up, leave us a message, let us know that you're in the house. And if you have any comments, any suggestions, you know, any questions, you can put them in the chat because I will be going to the chat periodically. So we've got Watching the Hawk in the house, 355, rise up, rise up. Watching the Hawk, good to have you in the house. We have our beloved Kwame Oboje back with us today. Oh, we've missed you, Brother Kwame Oboje, for the last two strongs. Tenda Mwari, great to have you back in the house. So sorry that you lost your dad last week, last year. You know, so saddened to hear that, Brother Kwame Oboje. We missed you, and I know that you must be missing your dad. Wow, I feel your loss. I feel your pain. And he says, as an independent Pan-Africanist, Kwanzaa is my cultural 7-day annual celebration next month. Yes, indeed. And like Brother Kwame Oboje, many of you are going to be celebrating Kwanzaa. Please do get a copy of my book as a Kwanzaa gift, as a gift of knowledge to your loved ones. We have greetings from Miss Q316 in the house, Duchess County of New York. Welcome, New York. Great to have you in your house. She says, I love this platform. Always great information, education and information. Rise up, be one, black first. Rise up, black people. Yes, indeed. And big up Queen Sister Shanice, a wonderful speaker. Thank you so much. Brother Kwame Oboje says, Africans migrated all over the world. Yes, we did. We did so many things, as well as build our civilizations at home and abroad. Yes, indeed, we did, Brother Kwame Oboje. He's a man who knows his history, and we welcome you. We welcome you. Let's go over to our special guest, Brother Pablos Oshin, who has already introduced himself to us. Paulus,
yeah,
thank you.
Paulos, Paulos. And that is my Ethiopian Tewahedo, Tewahedo. That is my faith, and that is the baptism name that we get in our faith. That's my name that I got. So I'm very honored with that name.
We are one people. We welcome you. We welcome you. We are one people, irrespective of faith, nationality, ethnicity, or anything else. First and foremost, we are Africans and we are one people. And if we all practice that ideology, you know, wow, we wouldn't have the problems in Sudan. We wouldn't have the problems in Tanzania. We wouldn't have the problems in the Congo. We wouldn't have the problems in the Biafra land. We wouldn't have half the problems that we have. But you know what? We are where we are. And as Pan-Africanists, those who are seeking to unite us as Africans, first and foremost, I think that is going to be our unifying factor. But, you know, we do the works. We continue to do the works. Rise up, rise up. We've got Karen in the house. I can't see any messages from Karen, but I can see a greeting welcoming Karen. So welcome. Now, Brother Rasoshin, oh my gosh, my beloved brother, I think the entire globe has been reeling from the stomach about what's happened in Jamaica. We've seen the videos. As you know, Brother Rasoshin, first of all, when I was in Jamaica in September, I met you over there, didn't I? And
yes,
we met
up.
We spent the day together.
Wonderful encounter.
We spent the whole day. You was touring us around New Kingston. We went to the Bob Marley Museum. We went to Sugar Minot's Museum in the making. We went to what was the marketplace we went to? We went
Yes, we
all
went to
down Harbour
the
View, Jamaica.
Coronation Market, which is the oldest market in the Western Hemisphere family. Coronation Market in West Kingston.
Yes, yes, yes.
And we
And
went to
it was
Culture Yard, the center, the epicenter that defined our culture to the music, from rock steady to reggae, as you know. So you also visit Culture Yard. You even was where Bob Marley and the great singers all gathered, and many of his song was actually written in that yard that you visited. So it was a good experience, my
yeah,
sister, to bring you to the physical journey of our ancestors and how much through trials and tribulation they've always overcome, no matter what position or situation that the Jacolian European has meted out against our race from the beginning of time, family, of civilization, as you know.
mm-hmm. Oh,
So
what a day and a learning experience that was. And in that culture yard, in that space as well, where Bob Marley and others did all of their writings, there was the minibus in there as a relic now of what they used to travel around
his
in. The
first
room
touring bus
where,
that Bob Marley bought, the first bus that he bought.
yes, it's there in the yard. And the room where was it Damian Marley was conceived? Who was the first one?
No, the first son,
That
Ziggy.
their special
That
room
is
was
his
there.
first son, the
And
eldest son. That is where he was
oh, is it
conceived,
Ziggy
in that
Marley?
room.
Right. So
That's
that room is
Ziggy
there
Marley, and
where
then
they did their.
Stephen.
All right. So yes, that was a wonderful day. And then I met that wonderful Ras who was giving me the stories of the Stones.
That's Ras Stoneman, popular known throughout the ancient order from Nyabingi, all mentioned as Rastafari. He's known as Ras Stoneman, but he is now being
Mhm.
baptized. So he's now in the faith of the king. He now has the name of Wulde Michael, son of the archangel Michael. So that is his name, his baptism name. Wulde means son of Michael.
Yeah.
All right. And
Mhm.
he's also our
Yes, so I
culture
had the
ambassador. He's our culture ambassador because anyone that can find history in stone knows a lot about the written history in books, probably more correctly that is written in stone. In
mm,
books, you can rub it out and you can translate and you can put lies and makeup in it. But it's very hard to rub out the history that is in stone, carved in stone. So he's our cultural
yes, and
ambassador,
he did,
not just in the Rastafari
yeah.
movement, but also for the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated Charter 43 is recognized as the culture ambassador, Rastoman.
Mm. It's great meeting him. And we also went past the cemetery. And this particular cemetery, oh my gosh, people, I wanted to go in there and film it. Their headstones was like motorbikes, the size of an actual motorbike. There was houses as headstones. There was guitars as headstones. There were, all kind of headstones. Brother Russ, I need you to go in there and get some pictures for me because I really
If
regret that we
you
didn't
if
have the
you
time to stop
commission
that
me,
day that we
and
passed
I shall
the
do it for you. Commission me, and I shall do it. But it's known as Maypen Cemetery, even though it's
oh,
not in Maypen. It's in Kingston, West
right.
Kingston. But it's a very famous cemetery.
Yeah.
You know, as you all know, many of the singers and the great icons are actually buried in there, and many of the great ones that came out of Trenchtown, Bakawal, the whole history of the transition of His Majesty philosophy and teaching as it was perceived here in Jamaica that created the greatest culture in the 21st century. So we give thanks, family.
Yeah, they were. Indeed, we give thanks. And as I said, we toured Harborview, and it was a wonderful day in Jamaica. And that was just, you know, a small part of my trip there. And I also met Sugar Minot's sons. They have a recording studio. They're actually working out of the same studio where their father, Sugar Minot, did a lot of the great hits. And they're in the process of turning that space into a museum. And they're looking help and support. And I hope to interview them at some point in the future as well, so that you can meet them.
It would be a wonderful
yourself,
thing to do,
family. Some great,
my sister, for you to introduce the sons and daughters of the great Sugar Minott, knowing the great music he brought to the UK and how much we all full joyed Sugar Minott's song. In fact, most of his music were #1, if you can remember. So he's being credited as the founder, the godfather of Lovers Rock, Sugar Minott, because that is he inspired that genre of music that came out of the UK with Maxi Priest and all the great singers that came out of the Windrush Children, as you know, family. So we love Sugar, and we would want to appeal, and that is youth promotion charity, because what they're doing is, as you says, is to turn it into a museum, and also to restore the studio, the original recording that you saw that needs some financial assistance to restore it to the glory days, so that we can go back to vinyl and all the original music as what it is now coming. We have a full circle coming back to vinyl as it relates to CDs in the 21st century. So it's a wonderful thing to do, my sister. And I'm hoping that you're able to assist like you've always done by sensitizing the people to the real history, the real location, the real workers that needs assistance, not criticism, assistance, because they have an example of the great works that they have done towards Africa for freedom, unity, and to maintain the dignity of all Ethiopians African. So we give thanks, my sister, for your wonderful words.
Ashe. Thank you. Thank you so much. And as part of my trip to Jamaica, I spent quite a lot of time in Negril, also in Montego Bay and Ironshore, right down to Ochi, around St. Anne's. And I was just in awe of the beauty.
And I must intervene and add that you were on two of the most popular broadcasting station in Jamaica with IRA FM and also with Brother Conrad O'Brien. You know, that was very important that you were on these local station, my sister. So I give thanks for your participation and the knowledge that you brought and shared with our brother Conrad, because as you know, he's a real African. Maybe under the persuasion of politics through Michael Manley, but he speaks of the real issue and he's not afraid to present it, as you know, family. So we give thanks for that engagement that you had with him whilst you were here on Jamaica, X-Mecca, as it was called originally, X-Mecca. X-A-Y-M-E-C-A. The X was silent, so they drop in the J. Under the J, the British got it. And under it, where they're all Jamaicans, belongs to the British sovereign rulers. They're all bonded shame under chattel slavery, still in the 21st century, if you refer to yourself as a Jamaican, unfortunately. Go ahead, my sister. I just thought I'll drop that in because it's the truth. It's the reality.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, indeed. And, you know, hang on, carry on. I just need to add some power to my solar.
Well, as you were saying, one of the main points that we're here is Hurricane Melissa. Now, I'm a believer in many things. I also have what we call a logical mind, which means that I observe Mother Nature and all that Mother Nature brings to us. I've experienced many storms. The only storm that didn't get us was the one in the 51. We wasn't on the planet then, and Gilbert. But the ones that has come to Jamaica since Gilbert, we've been able to experience them because we were actually here at those times. Now, if we all know, Mother Nature as a natural channel for the east wind, the west wind, the north wind, the south wind, and it always come from Africa. All these energy that normally comes on the west trade wind create their energy as they come across. Some of them pass us by, some of them became hurricane as they build up their energy. Well, this particular storm was actually here for over 4 weeks. 4 weeks before this storm actually landed on land, we had it here in the Caribbean region. We saw how unsettled was the atmosphere throughout all that period, family. So when we were alerted about the storm, most of us thought that it would be coming by the various natural channels as usual. So we were expecting it to come from the east, which is coming across the Atlantic, which was the Ethiopic Ocean, right across into the Caribbean. We would expect it to impact in St. Thomas and that region coming across, but we realized that it's not coming from that route. It actually took a different route, which no one understood. And believe you me, family, intelligent has given humanity that capability. So when I look at this storm, Melissa, I can only say it was weaponized by artificial intelligence using Mother Nature as a weapon, because we know that the devastation that I saw, Sister Shanice, on top of the land, it means that the rich will be able to get access to the land and to the resources below the land. So instead of dropping bombs that you then have nuclear so-called energy around, you cannot go and access the land, they are now weaponized Mother Nature. And I'm very, very persuaded that's what happened with Hurricane Melissa. Because the after effects of this storm, my family, the region that it went through, everything is ash brown, like some chemicalized atmosphere went through the region. It is not just a normal storm. I know it is weaponized, and we've saw the devastation because we've never had a Category 5 hurricane in all the times that we can remember the history of the weather that continue during the periods of the hurricane season here in the CARICOM region, in the tropics. We've never had anything like that, family. So, as I said, what I saw, those of us that were able to survive this gale force wind of such magnitude, they only houses with concrete roof. Any houses that had zinc roof, that went immediately, family. And any corrugated iron apart from concrete, all went with Melissa. So you can imagine the devastation that is in from St. Anne's, because it started from St. Anne's. If you look at the map of the Jamaica, look at the parish of St. Anne's. So it went right across from north, right across the island, right across it to the southern side, and then it encompassed, and then from the line of Manchester There's a line there because Manchester wasn't so affected. So if you look at that line from the north of St. Anne's Bay, from that region, and just draw imagine a line right across the island, well, the entire other half of the island was totally annihilated, was totally destroyed. I have never seen so much trees. All our fruit trees, our grapefruit tree, our breadfruit tree, every tree, no matter what age they were, Sister Trinice, are now laying down. Totally cannot be replanted, totally uprooted. So in that region right now, my family, I am seeing what is similar being done by Israel artillery in the Gaza Strip because our people needs clothing, some of them. The majority need water, food, because that place is like hell. If you can imagine when the atomic bomb was tested in Japan and they didn't know of the actual effect of it. Well, it's the same thing with Melissa. What we saw, family, was like looking, if we were to think of hell and the the whole environment of it, that's how our country from St. Elizabeth, Hanover, and Westmoreland totally destroyed everything that is on top of the land. And that's the position that we're currently at. And it is concerning because prior to this, Melissa, the government gave the impression that they were so much pre-prepared, post-prepared, you name it, but we're not seeing it in those devastated areas. All the preparedness, in fact, I have never seen the Jamaican government repeatedly telling the people over and over with all the different agencies, all the head of them were repeatedly telling the people, bombarding the people with information. So we know that the government knew of this. They do not know the impact of it, but I'm quite sure there's some heads of it was fully informed, because the way they treated this and look as if they were so prepared for it, the aftermath of it is that different, because there's so much help that has come to Jamaica, because Jamaica position, as you know, the entire world looks to Jamaica. America, Europe, Africa, everywhere looks to Jamaica. So at the moment, there's a lot of opportunity for the what we call the hypocrites and the parasites to use this devastation to make themselves look good to the international world. So I would like to tell our family, Jamaicans particularly, that we have more Jamaicans abroad. Mr. Andrew Holness, the current Prime Minister, as you know, is part of the Privy Council. He's also went to Israel and gave support to that Israel evil regime that continue the evil against the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. And you know that Mr. Andrew Holness' policies is all foreign development, it's all foreign interests. It is nothing to do with the local developers. It is all foreign interests. So what is happening? Jamaica is being sold to the Chinese under this disguise that they're here to build highway that suits the area that the prime resources, our virgin resources exist. So we've given the Chinese access to all of that. We've given the Jews. We've now given the Arabs, Sister Shanice, a piece of Jamaica. And as you all know what the Arabs have done to Africa, the evil in the Middle East under United Emirates state of these children that came across the Sahara, and the evil that they did over 7,000 years ago in Mother our mother Ethiopia, Abyssinia, because there's this word Africa. I really don't like that terminology, that narrative, because when you're an African, it means that the Greek and the Roman owns you. Just like when you're a Jamaican, the British, under the papal doctrine of their Lord's Constitution, own all our citizens under Jamaican citizenship. So it's the same thing with African. I prefer to refer to motherland either as Abba land, Abyssinia, or Ethiopia, because Ethiopia means the land of the burnt skin people that the rest of humanity on this planet knows as Black, Sister Shanice. So I prefer Ethiopia, not Africa. So please, if you can interject, my sis, because you know, we can go on talking, but this hurricane was weaponized. And it is not a coincidence that the region that is destroyed, including Black River, that everyone has been famous area that you go and get your bami and your fried fish, that's totally annihilated, it's obliterated. As for the bamboo walk, that is like a natural bamboo tunnel that you go across to reach St. Elizabeth from Kingston, that is gone, totally gone. We don't have it. So that entire region is up for what they call the building of the new city, the smart city, that is going to be funded by the Chinese and the Arabs and Russia. Those who's come together under BRIC, the Arabs, Russia, and China. They're the one who's going to be building this new smart city, while Jamaican people become second class, third class hospitality servant in the land of our father, the land of our ancestors. That is the current plan that is being proceeded on by this government that was elected by 19% of the electoral majority. 19% elected this government into a democracy position when it should be a majority government that is governing our nation. So there's a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of evil. Just like African government, it's no different in Jamaica over the years since independence. As you all know, family, all they've done is maintain the order for England under this veil of so-called deceit that calls themselves elected government. They are not. They are minority, and what they're doing currently, because remember, the Andrew Onis government has been leading this country for 15 years now. You could say for 15 years. So that means all the policies that you've seen happening comes from Andrew Onis' cabinet, because what he has done, every agency, every charity is now under the office of the Prime Minister. So that means, family, you can hold him accountable for everything that is happening in Jamaica. You've heard many things, that a lot of the stuff that's being sent to the people is not getting to the people. You've heard that many of our people have traveled from abroad with stuff to the airport, and they've been refused to bring things in unless they give it to these charity that is now under the office of the Prime Minister. So let us see what Andrew Onis is all about, because he's the one that is making the decision. So anything that goes wrong, the buck stops with the office of the Prime Minister family. So I want our Jamaican people to start to bombard his office with realities, questions of what is going on, because the aftermath of this, Melissa, the government are not being so prepared as how they presented themselves prior to Melissa landed in Jamaica. And as all you also know, family, it didn't just touch Jamaica, it touched Haiti and Cuba. But no one speaks of Haiti and Cuba. And yet Haiti has been under so much devastation recently with this recent earthquake that's having. And we know that everything is to do with the resources of Haiti. Haiti has one of the biggest deposits of cobalt in the Western region, which they need for all their weapons of mass destruction, all their things they need comes from that mineral, as you know, family. So we know that Haiti and the abuse of the Samaritan that comes in as charity. We have over 323 charities in Haiti since the earthquake. And you will find out none of it has helped the majority of the people. In fact, they try to demonize our people in Haiti as gangs, murderers. That's what they do. So as it relates to Jamaica family, we know it has happened to our island that we love so much, but let us know that what affects us, it's not just one house, one black man house. What we're now doing affect all black people, all of us who've suffered, particularly the 500 years of shackled slavery, those of us who's lived and see the 21st century, knowing that the system is so unjust. Look at what happened in America, the civil rights. Look at what happened in England with the SUS law that came against our youths, our men, and what they did. So you see, my family, I'm one with Brother Greg in America. We cannot have this man anymore at the table as it relates to Africa unity, restitution of our family, as it is divinely given to us by the Almighty. We cannot have him. This is why we must now look to ourselves, Sister Shanice. Let us look to the ones that has a record of doing work, not the hypocrites and parasite that comes in like roast breadfruit, and they're being funded by the same enslaver, the Jews that continue enslaving us and take our rightful position as the chosen race on this planet. It is time for black to black. And this is what we're now doing, family. So the organization that came out of Africa is the organization that we are now invoking as it relates to the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, and as it relates to the Caribbean, His Majesty Faith, the Tewahedo Church that maintain a divine sovereign authority here on earth, the oldest divine sovereign kingdom that has maintained the godliness of the Trinity here and now, which is Ethiopia. So anything to do with our sovereign, we must look to Ethiopia, not to the European. And this is what we're now doing, Sister Shanice. We are declaring our international human rights as it is charter, to reclaim our identity, to reclaim our spirituality or whatever religion that we follow, our name that was stolen, and most importantly, the land of our father, our grand and great grand, our ancestor, that gives us the resources to maintain our race and for us to maintain ourselves from being annihilated. So the land is immediate possession. And we do know our land, Sister Shanice, the land that you can trace your father, your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-grandmother, your great-great-grand. And I'm quite sure many of you from Jamaica, you can trace all your ancestors right here. Many of you from St. Lucia, Trinidad, all the other islands of the CARICOM, you can all trace your ancestors right back here. And those of you who is from Africa, in the last 500 years of shackled slavery, you can all trace your father, your mother, your grandmother, grandfather, to the respective region of your ancestors that was given to your ancestors in Africa, in Ethiopia. I don't like Africa. In Abyssinia, Africa. So it's very easy, family, when I hear where we to return to. It's in your blood, Sister Shanice. Maybe that is why you're in the respective region that you are currently working, because it's in your blood. There are some American African Negroes that remigrated to Africa, but they had to return to America because why? It's not in their blood. So these American Negroes that came off the plantation, they had the more of the DNA of the enslaver in them. So when they went to Africa, they couldn't cope. But if it's in your blood, my sister, and you don't have a flushing toilet, it ain't gonna matter to you because we're going to put in flushing toilets if necessary. It's not going to make us return back to Babylon, just like many of these Negroes American. Oh, they don't have no light. Well, we now have solar lights. So these are the things, family, when it's in your blood, these things doesn't matter that you don't have flushing toilets when you return to Mother Africa. We will put in the infrastructure because we in the West, we are the one that brought modernization of all European in the 21st century, including Europe under America's sisters. So you see, we don't mind if we don't have toilets in Africa. And we don't mind if we have to dig a hole to defecate in either. Because why? Our ancestors did all that. So you see, that is how you will know who is a true African, by the action of that person, not the color of skin, my sister, because there are a lot of breadfruits around amongst us. And these are the ones that criticize, the hypocrites and the parasite that comes amongst us, the one that looks like us. So there you go, sister.
Brother.
So what we're doing here
Ras Oshie,
as an
you said,
yes, my sis.
Yeah, I'll try and interject. Hopefully my internet will allow me. The internet
Please
is
do.
a bit unstable, as you know. You've said so much there, and there's, you know, so much I could comment on, but I'm not even going to attempt to comment and respond to everything you've said there because my internet probably won't allow anyway. But I just want to draw to your attention, going back to where you started from actually, about the abnormality of this particular hurricane. I want to rise up, Brother Kwame, the quiet one from the Big G Galaxy after you. He actually sent me something a bit earlier. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I'm just going to read you the brief. And the brief description of this video that he sent me on YouTube, the title is The UN Report Proving Melissa Was Not a Natural Disaster. If you want to check it out for yourselves, family, it's entitled The UN Report Proving Melissa Was Not a Natural Disaster. And it goes on to say, the United Nations just released a report that changes everything we thought we knew about Hurricane Melissa. Using AI-powered satellite technology, UN scientists discovered 7 findings that prove this wasn't just a natural disaster. So I've been speculating, you've been speculating, and many others have been speculating about this particular hurricane. And we've done our own research and have come to the conclusion that this was not a normal hurricane. And the UN have actually already released a report claiming the same shocking results. And what it has said that will be revealed in this video if you watch it is that it will explain why Jamaica lost 30% of its GDP in 1 week. The hurricane wiped out 30% of Jamaica's GDP in 1 week. 1.5 million lives were uprooted overnight. 4.8 million tons discovery that broke records. The 4.8 million ton discovery that broke records, what AI satellites revealed from space, the climate connection the world tried to ignore, why this proves someone is responsible, and how Jamaica can rebuild. And there's a big concern as well when any of these sites start talking about rebuilding Jamaica as a smart city. That just stinks of the plan that they had before the storm actually hit, you know? And so there is so much more that should concern us about this particular hurricane. So absolutely agree with your statement that you started out with when you said that you'd experienced so many hurricanes in Jamaica and how strange and how different and abnormal this particular hurricane was compared to all of the others. And here is a UN report also confirming, as I said, that Melissa was not a natural disaster. You know, I looked at it from the perspective that they had heated up the waters just by about 2.5 or so degrees, but in so doing, it caused the hurricane to be 700 times more ferocious than it otherwise would have been. And what have they been doing to heat up the waters in the Caribbean region during October? They were dropping bombs in the Caribbean Sea. They were dropping bombs under the disguise that they were bombing boats that were carrying drugs, but they were heating up the water. That was all part of the strategy as well. And so it was all part of a bigger plan. Also, very interestingly, my brother, you've not mentioned this one, but Starlink was in Jamaica on the day of the hurricane offering free internet across the island in the regions that was affected. And I just learned recently who is the entrepreneur behind Starlink, the internet savior that's coming to provide internet and save the Jamaicans who are out in the remote regions without, you know, Digicel or any one of the other Jamaican ones. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is in there with Starlink. And then who's
and can I remind you?
Can I
remind you?
Mr. Ian Musk,
we know where his richness came from, the blood of our African family. We saw under the Trump recent election, Ian Musk has brought together some of the most evilest Jews, scientists, millionaires on the planet. You heard him speak about Stargate. Stargate, the opening up of Stargate, that porthole that these mad Jews want to harness the energy from the galaxies. So you see, when you talk about this Ian Musk and the evil of the crew that Trump, Mr. Trump government has brought together globally, you know what the intentions are under the Jacobian European Nazism of neocolonialism that came out of Europe family. These so-called one who calls themselves Jews. So that is not a surprise that that's the only communication that we had, as you know. All the other providers were interrupted for the majority, at least for 7 days. We didn't have no connection. Only Kingston that wasn't affected, and that region that had the different connections to the services, but the rest of the entire island has been completely obliterated. That's the only way. It is as if a bomb. And as I said to you, when I watched this storm as it built and landed, you could actually see the wind, the wind, the power of it. And you literally, there was moments during it when it landed, when 1 minute is as if somebody turned a switch and it shut off, and then it gained more energy and it came back. So what roof it didn't take on the first passing, the second one, was now each time it increased its speed as it landed. So I've been told that it reached a maximum speed of 150, 215 miles an hour. That's what it said. Well, I actually saw it, family, the building up of it, and how much each time the force was so increased that what the first rush didn't take, the second rush took. So the first rush lifted up the roof of all these houses. The second one totally obliterated everything. So I watched it, Sister Janice, and I give thanks that the family that I was with built a concrete roof and not a zinc or other form of roofing, because if we had that, we would be without roof, and all our furnitures, everything, just like the majority of Jamaican and that part of the island, all their furniture is also destroyed because all of them lost their roof. As for the board houses that was made out of wood, don't talk about them. Talk about the bad wolf blow it down. Well, he puffed and he just blew down every board houses you can imagine. So that gives you an idea of the devastation that our people is going through and the suffering that is caused for the rich to come in and take the land and develop it and to have access to the resources that is underground, below ground. And that's what I see. I saw a weaponization of Mother Nature, and we know they predict it that this is going to be happening more frequently. And what they're trying to do is to attach it to global warming, that these so-called the unnatural behavior of what's happening is to do with global warming. No, it's not. It is them, Sister Shanice. And if is there anything to do with global warming, it is them that cause global warming for the amount of oil they've taken from the earth. They then went into the ocean deeper than the earth and took the oil. They went to Antarctica. They took out the oil. Now we see Antarctica melting, collapsing, because they have cracked that protective barrier that surrounds the magna of the center of the earth. That is why the earth is eating, family. So they're going to use global warming to explain all these unpredictable natural disasters that they themselves are doing by using artificial intelligence. And I'm very, very, very sure it's going to be happening again in the Caribbean. And it's going to be used in other spaces of Africa. I know that, family, because they cannot afford to drop atomic bomb, nuclear. So they're weaponizing Mother Nature. I used to remember in the 80s, Sister Shanice, by reading certain of their scientific books, they used to tell us that they were going to create a bomb that will only destroy man, which we saw the AIDS virus came in. They said that they were going to create a bomb that was only going to destroy the upper layer, the Earth's surface. So anything that's on top of the Earth is collateral damage. So whether it's you as a human being, your farm, your property, all these things is now collateral damage because they're going to use Mother Nature. So you cannot claim insurance in some region, as you know, because Mother Nature is going to be held responsible, and the world is going to blame the Almighty Creator for these disasters, when it is man with his evil is actually activating these environment to create the atmosphere and the reaction that we see from it. And I know Hurricane Melissa was the first one I witnessed right here in Jamaica. And we see how the Prime Minister has been very active. As I said, all the agencies is under the office of the Prime Minister. So I want Jamaicans, both at home and abroad, to hold him accountable for what's happening in our country, because he's the one. When I look at Abraham Traore, the young man on the continent of Ethiopia, when I compare him to this young man that we thought would do much better, being one that was birthed in independent, we are so wrong, family. This one is probably the worst prime minister we've ever had representing the majority of our people, we the black people of the world, because we see his policy are all foreign orchestrated. I do not think that Andrew has made one proper decision that has come out of his own life experiences. Everything he's doing has come from Israel. Do you know that Israel scientists are here in Jamaica? Yes, we've had Israel scientists, they've converged here. They're all here, just as how the CIA were here in the 70s and the 80s to ensure that the Michael Manley government was finally defeated, because Michael Manley wasn't communist, it was social democracy. How to bridge the gap between the poor and the rich, who calls themselves the plantocracy class, the so-called genocided remnants of children that came from the European white man enslaver. His children that is ruling Jamaica. They are the ones that was compensated when we were emancipated. They're the ones that were paid reparation so that they could build their system in the Caribbean and rule all society, because they're the one that runs the money. They're the one who have all the Queen land and all the land that they were given, hundreds of thousands of acres by the British, the House of Lords. So these are the ones that's ruling the Caribbean. So our government is really a puppet government, because the Governor General has the final say in all decision and in all action, the Governor General. So all we are really is 63 elected parliamentarian, just as we are at the United Nations as representative. 53 states of Africa are there as observant status. So we are just observant in the land of our ancestor and watching those who in slavery continue democracy of corruption. Because right now, family, I must remind you that the current government of the JLP, 5 of their ministers is under serious investigation, including Mr. Andrew Holness himself. And that is the truth. The same integrity of inquiry that he set up, because he brought in these new agencies to show that he was going to be a better leader of transparency. Well, the same inquiry commission has found many things that this young man has done, which is not nation constitutionally. You know, it is quite serious, really, because one would say it is treacherous, it's treason. Many of the action of him would be deemed as treason. If he was in Russia or in China, the head of the Chinese would bring him up, and they would have probably executed him already. That's all I can say, your family. So that is the position.
And this is the leader.
Huh?
And this is the leader that the Jamaicans re-elected, albeit only 37%.
This is the leader that, not Jamaicans, here, but 19% of 100% electoral voters put this man into power, when we know that America assisted Andrew from the first time he became prime minister. There's always been a dark cloud how he came in from day one, family. So it is not a mystery for ones like us to see the position that he's taken. The first trip was to America before the COVID came in. He had a wonderful meeting with Mr. Trump and Mr. Bill Gates. He then went to England, remember? and he was member, became member of the Privy Council. And he then went to Israel, given that evil prime minister, that we, the majority, supports his regime of terrorism in the Middle East and what they're doing to Palestinians. So you see, this young man has acted not with a majority, but with a minority.
Yeah.
And those who is pulling his string, those who is pulling his string is America, England, and Israel. That's what we know, because look at the places where he went and the position that he was given by the European enslavers.
Yes.
And that is unconstitutional.
Indeed. So
I must say to you, all right?
So what we
it
can
is
see
incumbent.
clearly from that family, we can clearly see who his paymasters are, who he's getting his instruction from, and what countries, yes, he's looking to for directions. And that's been apparent as well, actually, throughout this Melissa disaster. He didn't spring into action. He sat there and waited for the Americans and the other agencies to come in to instruct them on what to do. I mean, I just couldn't believe that. And now we're hearing from you that all of the different charities are coming under his department. And there's clearly a bottleneck there, because from what I'm seeing happening on the ground, it's the artists and the entertainers and the charities on the ground who are the ones reaching the people in the remote places at their time of need, not the government agencies. And what I'm hearing also is that a lot of the goods and barrels and shipments that are coming in, items are going missing. Buju Banton, for example, hail out the fact that enough of the things that he sent over, you know, had gone missing. And then later there was a video where a worker from behind the stores that was in receipt of all of these goods said that they thought they actually found the stove and some of the other items, the fridge and other items that Buju was missing. I mean, what's going on? What's being said about, you know, the thievery that's happening, which is absolutely disgraceful. This is a time of need, but it's also proof, you know, that the government and relevant department is not managing, you know, the receipt and the distribution of all of the goods and the materials and donations that's coming in. I mean, what's the plan around that now? What's the government saying it's going to be doing?
As you know, this government has dipped their hands into the National Housing Trust, which belongs to the poor people. They've used the poor people money to pay back one of their friends' investment company that stole 12 million US dollars from Usain Bolt, as you all hear, and many others. So we, the poor, is only here to continue maintaining the table of the rich of European, as you all know, because our GDP and all what we earn from it, do you know only 27 cents actually remain in the country? Family, 27 cents. So when you talk about 33%, yeah, those are the 33% of the all-inclusive hoteliers that is run and owned by the Plantagenet class, whatever they call themselves. So when you see food for the poor is owned, run on a charity. You know, they have helped a lot of poor people, as they say, but it's a deceiving charity that is run by the Mahood family, part of those that maintain the enslavement of our people. So all these charities, organizations that you all see in Jamaica, they are owned and run by the same enslaver. So nothing doesn't change. So all they're doing is enriching themselves, and they will ensure that certain percentage of what you sent actually reach the people. And as you said about these singers and players, I must commend them, particularly Sugar Minor Youth Promotion Charity. As you know, I've sent you a posting with Passion Minor, actually gathering food and everything and putting packages together. And she's been our second trip. She's gone into the region that is actually needed. So we must commend our singers for the position that they're taking. But as you said, everything is corrupted, my family. It only has a smiling face to it. It has a wonderful cabinet presentation of people who's supposed to have knowledge and to know better what to do, but it's all a deception. They're all hypocrites. They are the parasite that looks like we, but maintain the evil system that continue to put Black people in their own country second class and third class citizen. Can you imagine? In the land of my father, and foreigners are first class citizen while I'm a second class citizen. Can you imagine? Well, it is time that we correct it. Simple as that, Sister Shanice, and it's only we can do it.
For real. And we must, we can, and it's the same picture and the same scenario across the entire African world, where we've got these outsiders who are the ones who are benefiting, from
what
the
I
wealth
would
and the
say,
riches of our lands. The majority and the poor people are suffering. If I could just bring in the audience here, Brother Rasso.
Yes, please do.
Rise up, Kwame Aboje. He's giving credit and recognition, to the great Pan-African heroes and sheroes of Jamaica, such as Paul Bogle, Peter Tosh. Your camera's gone, Ras. Please put your camera back on. Sister Karen in the house saying, yes, we're sending prayers to Jamaica. We've got Betty in the house. Rise up, Betty. Good to have you in the house. We've got Colin Bell in the house saying, word, Brother Pius, word, Paulus, word. And we've got Kwame Boje, who's saying the pain as well as the suffering of our people from Jamaica is so heartbreaking, losing their homes and losing their families. They've lost everything. So many people have literally lost everything. And you know what? I mean, Jamaicans are just so resilient, family. What we're hearing, despite them losing everything, is they're saying, but we got life. From there's life, there's hope. And so, whereas if this was in Europe, if something like this happened in Europe and these Europeans were to lose everything, oh my gosh, they'd be committing suicide. Life wouldn't be worth living for them. They would be bawling and carrying on. But the Jamaicans, they're like, hey, we got life and we will rebuild Jamaica again. And I just love that. Rise up, Sister Betty, who says there's a lot of suffering going on in Jamaica right now. And Colin is agreeing with that as well, and let's scroll down and see. Yeah, someone's saying that the winds, I think that's referring to the winds, about 200 miles per hour winds going on. Kate Safar's in the house. Rise up, she says, hi, Shanice and Ras. I asked my Jamaican dad about his friends and family. He said they're okay, thankfully. However, I saw a Jamaican nurse yesterday who lost her house due to Melissa, praying for Jamaica. My sis, if you ever see the videos, the whole of St. Elizabeth, Black River, flattened, the regions from Montego Bay right through, total devastation. Hundreds of tons of debris, came up with the winds from the bottom of the sea and pelted Jamaica. The wind was so ferocious. So many houses are flattened. In areas, it looks like ground zero. It's been described as ground zero because you know, there's nothing there. Betty's agreeing, you know, that the president is a total sellout, that prime minister is total sellout. Kwame says, I call our ancestors from Jamaica, you know, from Paul Bogle to Peter Tosh to uplift our people in Jamaica. And he's also congratulating you and saying, my brother Ras, wholeness is unfit for purpose, a hopeless PM. So that's the view out there that is unfit for purpose and a hopeless PM. Thomas is saying, welcome, Thomas, good to have you in the house. He's saying, all I can say is this Melissa was a mystery, nothing to do with HAARP. No one can say how natural disasters will turn out. Well, the United Nations have just produced a report who are also saying that Melissa was definitely not normal. Brother Thomas, do go and check out that report. And yes, agreeing with everybody, it is time for change. Time for change indeed. We've got Kuchi Galilia in the house saying one God, one aim, one destiny. Family, if you've got any comments, any points you want me to read out, any questions, do drop it in the chat and I'll put your questions to our brother Ras Hoshing. Brother Ras Hoshing, you know, going back to you, because you know, I was just saying, many of us have seen some of the shocking scenes, you know, the tragedies, the heartache that our people have been suffering. And we know that at least 19 people have been confirmed dead, and our hearts and our sympathy goes out.
No, the number is more than over 30 people so far, and there's a lot still missing. Wow. Because as you know, family, wow, you know, there's still quite a few is unaccountable of our missing people. So we still don't know the full death toll yet until probably quite a few more weeks.
And all right, many so it's more than
19, it was 30 the last time we heard locally. But as it relates to the resilience and the building, it must be black and black. And the reason why I say that, it has given us the opportunity to reset the agricultural program, which means we invest, and it so happened, the area that has been totally annihilated is one of our biggest agricultural region, as you all know. So I will encourage our Jamaican people to invest in agriculture. What we're doing is working with the Westmoreland Hemp and Ganja Farmers Association, because we are not just here to plant ganja. What we said to all our farmers, the kind of strain of ganja we are now able to give you suckling. If you were to plant 1/2 acre to an acre, it will create revenue that will subsidize the entire agriculture industry, which means that everything.
Oh, you've frozen for me. Let me just check what's going on my phone.
You'll be having harvesting. The ganja does that. So we're actually spearheading that model of farming in that region, because the ganja will bring in revenue very quick. It's the most lucrative cash crop on the planet. And as you know, Jamaica, regardless of what they say, of what the rest of the world has, none of them has what we have naturally. Ours is not genetics, being inbred with chemicals and all sort of evil madness that increase the THC, like what you currently have in the Europe, in the UK, what we call skunk when it first came amongst we. All of those strains that you have, the majority of them are chemical GM, cannabis, and they're very lethal, very addictive, family. But Jamaica has the right environment. It has been scientifically tested that our natural environment here in the tropics, and particularly Westmoreland, Orange Hill are uniquely created to grow the best strain that Mother Nature has ever given us, this wonderful plant. So it gives our people the opportunity to invest in agriculture that should be our main income earner, not tourism, agriculture, because we have the tropics. We can harvest 3 crops, 4 crops a year, while many other countries are lucky if they get one. So you see, we are in the position right now to take the. So I'm encouraging our people to work with the Black groups. And what we're saying, Sister Shanice, as it relates to charities, which we all know are only Samaritan, disguising themselves as Good Samaritan, and they're evil, ulterior motive. It is time for us to recognize Black. And as it relates to charity contribution, I've already told many, please send it under the East Orthodox Teahido Church at 89 Maxfield Avenue. That is the work of our church, to ensure that the right provision that comes from sincere donors gets to the people, and not to those who put it in their front pocket, their back pocket, their side pocket, and then what eventually is left, they will trickle down to those who needs it. So that is what I'm encouraging. I've been sending out their addresses. In fact, we are working with the food for the, not food for the poor, the hungry to be fed, Nourish Foundation, which is led by one of our great Empress Black woman, Empress Zaditu. Her organization, as you know, as have sent donations right across the region, including Africa. So we trust Empress Zaditu. So under her charity, we're encouraged ones and ones in UK to contact her, so anything can come through her to the church, which she's already done that. She's already sent a lot of goods already to the church here in Jamaica, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church that came out of Africa, not from the West family. So we are not the church of the mystery Christian Babylonian interpretation that came from the West, like the Catholic, the Church of England, the Presbyterians, the Moravians, and the Pentecostal, all these ones. We were not of that churches. So I would encourage those to send it to that organization. As for any financial assistance, we are asking you to visit the website that we are temporarily using, because it's one of our great workers in Haiti. So instead of creating another website, that one is already established. So I would like you to visit the website under ebacgov.com. It will also give you a lot of information concerning the Kingdom Warrior Foundation that we now recognize as our official agency for any funding to come into the 6th region, whether it's for Jamaica, Haiti. We would like you to send it to that organization, because it's an organization that we trust.
Web address again. Please give us that web address again.
Yes, it's one that we're using on the emergency while we are finalizing the Ethiopian World Federation 6th region website. So this is the site that we're using of one of our principal worker, of Dr. Chube. She's the one that created this site, and her Asian family and people from all over America. It is on the EBACGOV.com. You can all try, all who is listening, try and go into that website. As we said, it's a site that we're using for the 6th region, for what's happening here while we are constructing the official website for the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated as it relates to the 6th region and the sovereignty of the position that we've now invoked according to the precedents, the laws of His Royal Majesty, not the papal doctrine and the lords of Europe, but the lords of the emperor, where we're now governing under. Just as how we recognize our Tehido being the oldest church, and people keep on religion, when we speak of the Tehido, we speak of one that came to all humanity, the one that maintained that divine sovereign authority here on earth. So we cannot do anything without that sovereign divine order as it relates to our kingdom and what is our precedential laws that govern us. Well, we are under the laws of the emperor, not a king, an emperor, greater than a king. So we are now invoking the Constitution of 1955, the revised one, that covers the entire continent of Mother Ethiopia, from the Horn of Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, the Cape of Cairo, to we here north of the equator, the CARICOM region, the islands of 15 member and 6 associated member states. We have that authority of that sovereign. And that's what we are now invoking. So, Dr. Chube, go ahead, sis.
I've posted the website. In the chat, and I'll also get the website again from you after the show, and I'll post it in the description so that people have got the link to that.
Yes, and for
very
anything to the
importantly, you
church.
reminded us that St. Elizabeth, one of the regions that was, totally devastated.
Obliterated. It's like a bomb.
One of the regions
atomic
that was
bomb
totally devastated was the breadbasket. Obliterated, was the breadbasket for Jamaica. And so you're calling on Jamaicans outside of Jamaica now to invest in farming, because obviously we want Jamaica to be self-sufficient in food, because any country that has to rely on another nation for its food puts itself in a very precarious and deeply troubling situation. So we need to assist Jamaica to get back to a position of self-sufficiency very, very quickly indeed. And so I like that proposal about supporting farmers, small farmers, to start producing crops all over again. Also, very importantly as well,
and remember,
we need to remind these farmers that they shouldn't go and take a free, just a moment, please. We need to remind the farmers not to accept the free seeds from their agricultural agencies, because these free seeds come at a very high price. The free seeds are usually GMO seeds, and the farmers will then be required to have to buy GMO fertilizers, GMO pesticides and chemicals to make the seeds germinate. And, if they're not handled in a precise way, then all of those farming produces will be lost. So what we must do is encourage farmers to do organic farming. Yeah, please. Yeah, one second. I was just wrapping up there.
I would love my sister.
Can you hear me?
If we could arrange.
Brother Ras, are you hearing me? Or have I disappeared?
Go ahead. No, you're on. You're on. I'm hearing you.
Okay.
I'm hearing you now, sis.
Okay,
I'm
yes,
hearing you.
because I was talking.
Oh.
Fantastic. Apologies for that, my audience. There might be a bit of a delay here. So yeah, very importantly is for Jamaica to become self-sufficient in food and not to accept the GMO seeds. It's not only is it going to be devastating for the land, but it's also devastating in terms of the ill health that the produces will create. And it also has serious long-term consequences for the land that has been used to produce those crops as well. It makes it not suitable for growing fruits and vegetables for the future. So I just wanted to get that in. Okay, Brother Rasoshin, jump back in.
What I would like to add when you was talking about that, sis, is that I really would like to have some of our black scientists, because as I said, the aftermath of the hurricane, when we look at the vegetation surrounding, it looks like chemical was rained down on this region. So, you know, so I would love, not for the Jamaican government or none of their hypocrites and parasites, but an independent team to come to Jamaica and to go into that region and just to do some of the soil testing to see what residue is actually left on the surface of the land, because I am quite sure, looking at those trees and the foliage of it, it looks like some chemical reaction was dropped on Jamaica with this devastated wind family. Okay? So I would love for that to happen. We are not in a position to effect it, but I would love to request and for that to happen, because it's not going to go away overnight, as you know. The situation of rebuilding our agriculture, it's not going to happen. So we need to test what is the effects of in that region, because I know there has to be some effects from this weaponized hurricane. There has to be some effects.
Oh, yes.
And it's not good, and it cannot be a good effect. It will be something that may probably impede new seeds, agriculture seed that we're putting in. We may plant it and find it doesn't grow as it used. You know, these are the things we need to know, not to be told.
This is what we do. Absolutely agree with you, Brother Masoshi. Let's call on those scientists to come and test the soil, and let's hope that this message reaches their ears so that they can come and do that. Thank you for the reasoning. You know, very important point that you've raised there, Brother Rasoshi. Now, we're in the final leg of our show today. Is there anything that you wanted to leave us with, my brother? So, I mean,
well, the thing I'd like to leave you with, family,
and the potential of the ganja industry, and you know just how much profit and how much money Jamaica can actually make from selling ganja, because it's the best ganja in the world. Absolutely agree with you. And why the government isn't taking advantage of that, I don't know.
Because the government,
well, I do know actually, because
advantage of
his
foreign.
Told him. Yeah, carry on, Brother Rasoshi.
Yes, the government is foreign, totally orientated. Only foreigners get position. Just like how the Chinese is taking over every commercial zone in Jamaica, from the town, the city, to the rural areas, family. Right now, Chinese is selling our people poison goods, GM products, that is made in China. We're now buying all the Chinese goods and services, which we know as GM, toxic, all manner of thing. And what the Chinese has done, they are now taking over the main brands, as you know, in Jamaica. So many of you who think you're buying the original brand, it's just a brand now being taken over by Chinese. And what they've done, they substituted their chemical food in these packages. So our nation right now We are not
Mm-hmm.
only being threatened by weaponized food from China, as you all know, we are also being threatened by America on all the rubbish that she sends down to we, and we consume it. That's where the position that we're in. So we're right now in
Yeah.
between the two beasts, China from the east and the America from the west. That's the position of the island that we love. And it doesn't look good, family. It does not look good.
So there's a
That
lot of
is why
work
I'm calling on Jamaicans, the real Jamaicans,
to
because as you
wake up.
know, people, we've been through
Mm-hmm.
so much. And our
Mm,
resilience, just as we came up to England and being a minority within a minority, overwhelming majority, we maintain our culture, our dignity, so much
this
so
is
that England become more influenced by Jamaican culture than we been influenced by British culture, because Britain
mm,
doesn't have one. They stole
mhm.
all their legacy that they've turned into
Everything.
culture. They didn't have any
That's right.
culture. Okay?
That's right. Want to rise up, brother Errol in the house as well. He says, as you know, I was out there with you in September and Jamaica was beautiful. I believe this was a man-made hurricane. It breaks my heart to see the destruction these devils are out to destroy us. So true. And their works continue through the food. Hotep to all the brothers and sisters, one love to you all. He says, we must unite or perish. Absolutely. Words again from Marcus Messiah Garvey. Unite now, mighty people.
Yes, my sister. And as you know, we are making appeal to those of you. People say I'm the biggest scam in the world. I would love to know what is it of scam. But we do appeal because we do need assistance. Right now, we need a transport in order to cover the works that we're doing as it relates to bringing the ganja industry with its own brand that define the strains that are grown by the Rastafarians. So we are now finalizing these things, and we do need some financial assistance. And we've been asking, people must think we're begging. No, we're just asking for assistance to fulfill that will be in the interest of the majority. We need a transport for a week. That is about 250 pounds. We need about 400 pounds to finalize our signs that define our outlets for our ganja to go into, so we can now bring in revenue locally to the works that we're doing and do not have to rely on one sending us anzaus and charity. So if that can be done, Sister Shanice, it will help us a lot. And as I said, anything that is coming, the 250 for the transport can come to me, but anything else, we want you to send it to the Kingdom Warrior Foundation. You will be getting tax relief rebates from that because it's properly set up charity, so that we
Have
can
you given
centralize
us?
what. Say
Yeah.
that again?
Yeah. So if you give me the link for that charity,
Yes,
what
the
I'll do, I'll
Kingdom
put it in
Warrior
the description
Foundation.
underneath
You will
as
find
well.
it on the website
Yeah.
of the EBAC-GOV. You'll also see
Okay.
the Kingdom Warrior Foundation within that
Okay.
site.
Yeah.
All right?
Right. And I've posted a link to that already. I've posted the address, the ebacgov.com. Yeah,
That's correct. Have you
ebac.gov.
yourself opened the site, Sister Shanice? Have you looked into it?
No, it's on my phone. So, and I've posted it in the chat. So I'm not actually able to do so, unfortunately, but I certainly will do immediately after the show. So, beloved Rasso Shing, thank you so much for sharing your experience of Hurricane Melissa with us. I think we've all heard what you've had to say about the abnormality of this particular storm. You know, we're thankful that you survived it, your family survived it, and people in your neighborhood managed to survive it. Sounds like your house was one of the few houses in the area that was left, you know, unscathed by Hurricane Melissa. But obviously, you would not have been able to escape the destruction that would have happened all around you. And I can only imagine, you know, what it must have been like living through Hurricane Melissa and hearing those howling winds and seeing the rain and the storms and the mud that it left behind and the total destruction and devastation that it caused. You know, it must scar the minds of people, and I'm sure that scarring is going to be there for a long, long time. So Jamaica's going to
Yes, it
need
is.
help
It's going to
for a
take
long
several years to recover those regions, my family, because
time.
all the trees, all this 100 years old, all the breadfruit trees, they're all gone, all gone.
Mhm.
In my family yard, we had breadfruit tree, staraput tree. All of that is gone. We've been from little babies. We've been feeding off these trees. They're all gone, family. All of them. Okay? All of them's gone.
All got
And
to be
that is,
replanted. But like you said,
yes,
the soil needs to be tested. And so I don't know if there's soil testers out there that could be sent over as well. So people could be testing, you know, the acidity or the chemical levels in the
yes, yes,
soil.
because
But you're
I'm
right,
quite
that needs
sure
to happen.
there are some after residue that has fallen
Mhm.
down on us in that region.
Yes,
Right? Your
definitely
eyes can't
needs
see
to
it,
be looked
but it's in the atmosphere and it's on the
at.
earth
Yes,
in that entire region, family. Okay?
yes,
So there's all
yes.
sorts of
Thank
things
you, Russ.
that could come
Yes.
as a result of this because we do not know what is actually in the atmosphere,
Mhm.
the residue of it.
Mhm.
Because anything that is weaponized by man, as you know, always have
Mhm.
evil chemicals and evil things that is not good for
Yeah,
Mother Nature or for
yeah,
human habitation or
yeah,
consumption.
yeah,
So that is very important,
absolutely.
I know, and I wish we was in a position to carry out these tests ourselves because it's very important for us to have these knowledge
Yeah,
of what actually
definitely,
the after the
definitely.
after
Well, we
residue
put
that
the
is
call
left in that
out
region.
there. Yeah, we put the call out, and so the call has been made, and I believe it's going to reach the ears of independent scientists who would be very interested in doing that analysis and then publishing their findings. We look forward to that happening. Brother Russell Shing, I
Just
want to
as
thank you
how the
so
United
much for being
Nations
a
has given, I'm
guest
very
on the show
glad that they
today.
actually gave such a report on this
Yes.
during when we're doing this podcast because you know we've been accused of being mad that we over
Conspiracy
this
theory.
over that all kind of thing, but it's one thing I know,
Yeah.
Sister Sunnis and family, this
Mhm.
Hurricane Melissa wasn't
No, no,
natural in
no.
all its formation, the liver of it and the aftermath. It wasn't natural, family, but Mother Nature, powers of nature was used in order to do it. That's what I know.
Mhm.
So I give
I
thanks.
agree. We give thanks indeed for the resilience of our Jamaican brothers and sisters, and we can rest knowing that our brothers will come back stronger. What we're calling on now is for an awakening to happen across the country of Jamaica. And so, to everybody that has been supporting Jamaica, we thank you so, so much. We've seen the videos. You know, we celebrate you for the works that you have been doing. And, you know, now we just need to ensure that all of those barrels, all of those containers, everything that's been sent, you know, reaches the people who need and deserve those goods and those resources, and that the government will be forced to free it up for the people. Rise up, brother Ras Oshing. Thanks for joining me on my program. I just
I
want to
want to
let the
thank
audience
you.
know that I won't be here next Wednesday. My show is going to be next Thursday instead. Next Wednesday is my Earth Day. So I won't be here next Wednesday, but I will be
Looking
here
forward.
next
Looking forward.
next Thursday. Sorry. I'll be here on Thursday, the 27th. So please join me
How
on
old will you be?
Thursday,
24?
next Thursday.
What, your 24th birthday? You're celebrating?
25.
Because I
Yeah, I'll be
must,
25.
when I saw you, my sister, I must commend your youthfulness, your youthful appearance. So I will not be so
that
presumptuous
comes.
to ask you. So I'll say you'll be 25 celebrating next week, Wednesday. All right.
Yes,
And
indeed.
give my love to
So
your wonderful
family, I won't be here
partner.
next Wednesday, but all being
Give my
well,
love
I
to your
will be
partner,
here
Brother
next
Errol, my
Thursday.
sister.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
there's always a strong
Brother
woman behind
Errol.
every man, but
Will
there's
do,
also
will
a
do. And also to say next
compassionate
Thursday,
man behind every strong woman.
a strong man, yes, behind.
So big up to
Yes,
Brother Errol.
yes. And
All
just to
right.
say that my guest for next Thursday is Professor Ampin. Professor Ampin, he's coming in all the way from the USA. And so please do join us next Thursday here, live and direct on the Sister Shanice Show. Thank you, Brother Rasoshing. Rise up
And
yourself.
thank you, my
It's been
sister.
great having a
Continue
conversation
rising
with you and
and
hearing from
continue
you
be an
about your
example.
experience of Hurricane Melissa. Rise up the family, stay strong.
And continue being an example, my sister,
Thank
not just
you,
in
thank
words,
you.
but the deeds, the physical deeds that you do, sister. That is what
Thank you
that
so much.
exemplify
So
you why we love your shows. Okay, you don't just talk it.
rise
You're
up,
now in
everybody
Africa
in the
doing it.
audience. Thank you.
Thanks very much, sister. A blessing to all the listeners
Rise up,
who have
beloved.
tuned in
Thank you.
and those that will be receiving it eventually. Perfect love to all Africans, Ethiopian, and all our people in
Rise
all
up.
continents, wherever we are. We are
Perfect,
still Africans. We are
perfect
still
love.
the black
Thank you
skin
to
that
everybody in the
everyone seeks
audience.
to hate.
Please do like and share. And yeah, we're signing off now. Apologies for the dodgy internet. You don't know how it goes.
Thank you very much.
Bye for now.
Wonderful love.
One love,
Perfect love.
family.